You notice it without really noticing it at first. A small clump of fur on the rug, then another on the sofa. By the time you actually look, they're already in the corner, bent into themselves, licking the same spot over and over until the skin underneath looks too thin, too exposed. And something in your chest drops, because this doesn't feel small. You don't think, you just feel it. I've made them anxious. We assume a cat pulling out its own fur is a stressed cat. That's something in their life, something we did or didn't do, finally pushed them too far. But what if that feeling doesn't belong to them at all? What if you're not looking at their anxiety, but your own reflected back at you? It's early May in the California valleys. The rain is gone, but it left something behind. The hills are still green, but the air feels heavier now, warmer, thicker. There's a fine yellow dust on your car in the morning. Pollen. You don't really think about it when you open the windows. Let the air move through the house. Let spring in. Your cat is already sitting in the middle of it. Maybe they're a dense rag doll, their coat holding on to everything the air carries. Or a rescue tabby whose tail suddenly looks a little thinner than it did last month. You sit on the floor and watch them groom. Same spot, same motion. Again and again. When we feel overwhelmed, we turn inward. We bite our nails. We pick at our skin. We repeat small things until they start to feel like control. So when we see them doing something that looks the same, we translate it the only way we know how. Stress, anxiety, a quiet breaking point. It's okay, you whisper, gently pulling their head away. You're safe. But your cat is not trying to soothe an emotional wound. Their skin is reacting to something you can't see. Pollen doesn't stay outside. It settles into fabric, into fur, into the thin space between skin and air. And for a body that's sensitive, it doesn't feel like a mild irritation. It feels constant. Not sharp enough to panic, but never quiet enough to ignore. So they do the only thing that works. They keep going back to it. Not because they're overwhelmed, because it doesn't stop. Because their body doesn't know how to turn it off. A few days later, it happens again, but differently. You reach down, almost without thinking, and run your hand along their lower back. For a split second, everything seems normal. Then their skin ripples, fast, violent, like something moved underneath it. They twist around, and just as quickly, they're gone. Under the sofa, out of reach. You pull your hand back like you touched something wrong. And for a moment, it feels personal. We do this all the time. Someone goes quiet, and we assume we said something wrong. Someone pulls away, and we replay the last thing we did. We place ourselves at the center of reactions we don't fully understand. So when your cat snaps like that, you read it the same way. They're irritated, moody, maybe even a little resentful. But your cat is not reacting to you. Something much smaller set that off. Spring doesn't just bring light back, it brings everything else with it. Tiny things that don't ask permission. It only takes one bite, one small reaction under the skin. For some cats, that's enough. The nerves don't go quiet after that. They stay alert, overreactive, listening for something that already happened. So when your hand passes over that spot, you're not just touching fur, you're pressing on something that hasn't settled yet. What looks like sudden aggression is often just a body trying to get away from a feeling it can't locate. Not anger, not rejection, just discomfort, arriving faster than they can understand it. Later, the house gets quiet again. The light softens. The air cools a little. Your cat is somewhere else now. Not by the window, not in the middle of the room, tucked into a darker corner, the back of a closet, under a chair you rarely think about. You notice it when the food bowl stays full longer than usual, when they don't come out right away, when you pick them up and they feel lighter than you expected. That's when the feeling shifts. It's not just guilt anymore, it's worry. We see withdrawal and we reach for the same explanation every time. Something is wrong emotionally. They're shutting down, losing interest, giving up. We've seen it before in people we care about, so we recognize the shape of it. But a body doesn't slow down like that for no reason. If energy disappears, it's going somewhere. You see it in how they rest. Not curled up securely, but low to the ground, their head resting heavier than usual. Eyes half open but unfocused, as if they're saving energy in ways you can't quite measure. Sometimes it's not visible from the outside. Sometimes it's something small, living where you can't see it. Taking just enough. Interrupting just enough. Turning normal things, like eating, like resting, into something harder than they should be. Your cat isn't pulling away from life. Their body is just busy dealing with something else. Something quiet. Something physical. And while you're sitting there trying to understand how they feel, they're trying to keep up with what their body is doing. Living with a cat has a quiet way of dismantling our ego. It slowly breaks the habit of making everything about us. You learn to stop translating every change into a feeling you recognize. Because not everything is emotional. Not everything is a message. Some things are simpler than that, and more urgent. The moment that shifts everything isn't when they come back and act normal again. It's when you realize you've been asking the wrong question the whole time. Not why do they feel this way, but what is actually happening to them. And once you see that clearly, something quiet changes. You stop filling the silence with explanations. You stop trying to comfort something that isn't emotional. You pay attention differently. Closer. Quieter. And sometimes, that's what love actually looks like. Not understanding everything they feel, but noticing what they can't say before they have to show you.